My friend, today I'm planning on tackling some DIY projects that I've been putting off for way too long. Now, as you know, I love going to estate sales and thrift stores, and every once in a while I will bring home a piece that I have a really good intention of transforming later. Unfortunately, that sometime eventually stack has become a bit of a situation, and now I need to do something about it. Honestly, I don't have a solid plan on what I'm going to be doing with each of these items, or if I'm even going to be able to tackle all of them. So clearly I don't know what they're going to look like once they're done. But I thought it'd be fun to first share with you what they look like before, and then I'm going to take you with me as I work on them. And of course, I will show you what they look like once they're finished and how I end up using them. Okay, let's get started. All right, I have this grapevine basket that I'm hoping to do something with. You can see that the handle is broken and it's got some pieces that have kind of chipped off of it. It just looks a little worn. I also have this holder. The insert is missing, and this plastic tray, which is in fine condition. I just want to do something with it. Then there's this, it's actually an Acacia wood tray. It's food safe. So I do want to keep the integrity of the top. I want to still be able to use it for food, but it's clearly missing a leg, and I just need to really clean it up and make it usable. I have these vases that I shared with you in a previous video. This silver tray, which I think somebody, this I found at a thrift store. I'm guessing these ring marks are from votive candles. I'm not positive, but they definitely don't come out. They are, that design is kind of now imprinted into the tray. Over here I have this just little plate holder. I'm not a fan of the black, so I'm going to do something about that. I have this metal tray that I believe really kind of needs some feet. I need some sprucing up. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with it, but I want to definitely transform the look of it. Then I have two of these cloches that are just honestly a bit of a pain to pick up this way. I mean, I'm always scared I'm gonna drop them. And I did share these in a previous video too. There's this basket that the lid opens, and there's fabric inside. And then I have this old mustard crock, which honestly, I don't know yet if I'm gonna do a DIY project on this or not. I need to try to figure out how old it is. If it's new, then I don't really care. If it's old, like really old, then I might keep the integrity of the labels and just kind of keep it as is. So this is, I don't know if this is a DIY project I'm going to try to tackle at all or not, or if I should just leave it as is. All right, so here's what I'm going to start with. Let's see where it ends up. The first project that I'm going to start on is this Acacia wood tray. As I pointed out a minute ago, I bought it missing a foot, which means I need to remove the other 2 feet and put 3 new feet on it. When I was at Hobby Lobby, I came across these wood candlesticks that I'm hoping I'm going to be able to use as new feet for the tray, because the smaller end of these candlesticks I'm thinking will fit perfectly into the already created indentations for the existing feet. Before I kind of get started on taking this apart, I want to share with you what my end idea is, kind of where I'm going to with what my DIY is. If you've been in stores recently, I've noticed a lot of high gloss white enamel interior wood bowls and trays. I'm going to plan on doing the opposite. I want to create a really high gloss enamel looking exterior on the base of the tray, but keep the wood interior, because this is food safe and want to make sure that I can use it for putting food on in the future. So again, my plan is high gloss enamel looking base with a wood interior. All right, let's get started. All right, this might be harder than I thought. The pliers are not working to remove these 2 feet, so I went and grabbed my hammer. Yep, that did the trick. Now I want to make sure that these candlesticks actually fit into the holes. After playing around, I've noticed that the diameter of the candlesticks is not consistent, so some fit better in different holes. To adhere them to the tray, I'm going to use wood glue. Because wood glue is not fast drying, I'm going to use the crock and vases as weights to ensure there's good contact between the candlesticks and the base. Okay, I feel the feet are nice and secure within the base of the tray, so now I want to paint it. I'm going to use this white satin spray paint, and then I'm going to take this high gloss paint to give it that really shiny effect I'm hoping to achieve. To prevent the paper from sticking to the tray when I'm spray painting it, I'm going to elevate the tray just a little bit so that it rests on this tape. Check it out, my wood tray is done on the bottom. I love how this high gloss white turned out. This is the effect I was going for, that super shiny look. But now I need to address the top of the tray. I need to bring back the luster to the wood, but I also want to make sure that it is still food safe. So I'm going to use my food grade mineral oil, and I'm going to first take my clean cloth and put it on the wood tray. I'm going to let it soak for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to come back and wipe it off. Hopefully this will really bring back that natural look for the wood and not look so dingy and old. Look at that immediate results. That is crazy. This tray is so dry. This oil is just like soaking into it so fast. I'm feeling like I'm needing to put more on than I probably would typically. Okay, now to let it sit for a few minutes. Now it's time to dry that off. Check it out, doesn't that look 10 times better? This small plate holder has these 4 little rubber pieces around the base, which helps protect it and the plates. I'm going to remove them because I do want to reattach them later. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not a big fan of the black iron right now, so I want to change the color. I'm going to be using a rub and buff paint. So first I need to put on a rubber glove, which is actually part of the instructions on how to apply this product. I opted for the antique gold, which I really love right now because it's not a super shiny gold. It definitely has a bit of an aged look to it. One of the things I love about rub and buff is how easy it is to apply. I mean, you just put a little bit on your finger and rub it around. A tiny bit goes a long way. I'm working in sections because I want to make sure that I get all of the black covered. I've completely covered all of the black. Now I just need to let it dry and then I'll come back and buff it. My plan is to spray paint the dish holder, but first I need to cover the wood handles with tape so I don't get spray paint on them because I have a different idea for those later. I'm going to use the same white paint that I did with the wood tray, and I'm going to give it a couple thin coats, making sure that I get complete coverage on the top, the inside, and the bottom of this holder. The small plate holder is dry, and I want to use the same rub and buff on this dish holder. That's Pippa behind me. Give me a thumbs up if you want to say hi to her. I don't want to stain these handles because they already have paint on them, and honestly, I don't think it's worth all of the time and effort to get them sanded and then primed and then stained. So that's why I'm opting to use the rub and buff because it's going to be a lot quicker and easier. Plus, I think it's going to look really fabulous with the small dish holder I just finished. If you're interested in the rub and buff or any of the other items I'm using, I will make sure that I have links down below for you. For my vases, I have an idea that's based on this crock. I was in an estate sale about 2 weeks ago and I bought this crock along with a matching bowl. And what I think I want to do is match the look of the vases to the crock and the bowl. So I went to Michael's and I found this chalk paint. It is sandstorm color. When I kind of put the two together, it looks as close as I can do to the crock color. And I also found this antique teal color, which I think matches the color on the stripes pretty well, probably as best as I'm going to be able to do. So I'm going to take the vases and paint them in the sandstorm color, and then where there's the indentation lines around the vases, I'm hoping to use those kind of as my guidelines for the teal color. Again, matching the look of the crock. So that's my plan, but first I need to remove the cording from each of the vases. This is a new bottle of chalk paint. I want to make sure that I shake it and stir it up really well before I start painting my vases. one of the things I love about chalk paint is the coverage. It looks like I might only need to do one coat of paint on these vases. To keep the vases from sticking to the paper, I am using bottle caps for them to sit on. They were definitely an impromptu solution that I found laying around the house. The vases are dry, so now I want to paint that stripe around them. I'm going to put a little bit into my paint trays and then take a fine tip brush and dab a little off first before I start trying to paint the stripes. Before I continue any further, I want to make sure the color of the stripes that I'm doing on the vases matches the color as closely as I can to the crock. To me, it looks too teal, not blue enough. So I'm going to take a little bit of this acrylic blue paint and mix it in with the teal to hopefully attain a closer color to the one that's on the crock. You can definitely see the new color is more blue than what I first started with. I think this is going to be a better match to the stripe on the crock. So I have finished painting the lines on all of my vases, and you'll notice these are not super precise lines. There is a little bleeding, they're not perfect. I'm okay with that because if you take a look at my crock, it kind of bleeds a little bit in the lines too. So that effect is fine for me. But what I do need to do though is now actually seal this chalk paint. So I've got my wax and I'm gonna just take and brush this on each of my vases. This is a simple plastic white tray, but I want to elevate it. I want to give it some height. So I'm going to use this candle holder that I got from Dollar Tree as the base. When I look at it, I don't want the top of the candle holder to be what the tray rests on because there's not much surface space. My plan is to flip over the candle holder so the tray sits on what was the bottom of the candle holder. I'm coming back to my trusty Rub and Buff antique gold paint again. As you can see, this stuff is amazing on wood, metal, and now I'm going to use it on ceramics. My base is now dry, so I want to attach the tray to the base. And what I'm going to be using is my hot glue gun that I've already got heating up. along with my trusty old E6000 glue. I'm using the hot glue to adhere the tray to the base, but hot glue is not a permanent solution, so that's why I'm also using the E6000, which will then permanently adhere the two together. Now, one of the neat things about this tray is it does have a clear center point that I can then match the base and line it up so it's perfectly centered in the middle of my tray. Just to give it a little extra stability, I'm going to just take my crock and use it as a weight. Next, I want to work on the cloche. With the cloche, it is perfectly fine the way it is, but every time I need to move it or pick it up and put it on something or take it off, that means I need to use both hands to move it around, which also means I now have got my fingerprints all over the glass. And I don't know why, but for me, I feel uncomfortable transporting it that way. So I'm hoping that by putting a knob on top of it, I'll easily be able to pick it up and put it down, thereby eliminating how many fingerprints I'm getting on the glass. So I went to Home Depot and Hobby Lobby, which is where I found a huge assortment of knobs to choose from. And I want to share with you the top 5 that I kind of weeded it down to. So the first one I found at Home Depot, and it's this really cute faceted crystal ball. I love how it just sparkles and it dresses up the cloche. I think this is a really good option for this size and the look I'm going for. The next one I also found at Home Depot, and it's this like pumpkin shaped knob. I love the size and the dimension of this knob for the cloche. Where my huge hesitancy is the color, because then I feel I'm kind of trapped with that color, that it's going to limit my uses for the cloche as home decor or even on my table settings. Another one that I found, and this one I found at Hobby Lobby, it's a distressed knob with a butterfly on it, and the screw unscrews from it. I really like the idea of this knob, and I feel it looks fine, but for some reason I feel like it's missing something. So I'm not going with this knob, but I really like the look and the idea of it. The next one, this one is from Home Depot, and it's this brushed gold. It does have a square base, but it sits very nicely on top of the cloche. So as you can see, and it has a very subtle but elegant statement about it. I think this is an option that could also have a lot of uses and be something that I would be able to, again, use around the home or on my table settings. The one that I'm going to go with, though, I found at Hobby Lobby, and it's this one. It's actually a 2-piece knob. I love that it's a little bit dressier. I love that it's a little bigger, which I think works with the size of the cloche. So let me show you what my plan is with this knob. So as you can see, there's 2 different pieces, and this base piece, it's got a bit of an antique bronze look to it, but it fits and sits so nicely on the top of the cloche. You can just take a look at how that feels that it belongs on top of it. And then I've got the top of the knob with the screw that's attached inside. Now here's my plan, and honestly I've not yet tried to do this, so I'm really hoping it works out. I want to cut this screw off, so I'm going to take a hacksaw and try to get through this screw right along the base. And then I'm going to glue that on top of my cloche. But while I'm working on trying to remove the screw from this crystal top part of the knob, I'm going to take the base and I want to distress it and give it the same look as this butterfly knob. I want to give it that white distressed look, which I'm hoping will be a really nice combination with the crystal top. So that's my plan. Let's get started on it. I'm going to use my white chalk paint. The paint is dry. Now I'm going to take some sandpaper and distress it lightly. That way that distressed bronze color kind of peeks through the white paint. Then I'm going to take this dry brush to help get off any of that excess paint that I've sanded. Now to seal it with the clear wax. While the knob base is drying, I'm going to see if I can get the screw detached from the crystal top. I've got my hacksaw. I really wish I had some kind of vice grip, but I don't. So I'm going to just rest it against this wood block and do my best. I'm beginning to make progress, but this is going to definitely take some time to get through. Wow, that was some hard work. The wax is dry on the base of my knob, so I'm just going to take a clean rag and buff that off a little bit. Then I've got some hot glue warming up along with my E6000 glue that I'm going to use to adhere this to the top of my cloche. I have my knob ready, so I'm going to just take and glue that into place too. Now to let it dry. I was able to complete 6 of my DIY projects, which I think is making pretty good headway. If you enjoyed my video, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And remember, a beautifully set table is a gift to those gathered around it. I look forward to seeing you next time here at the table. Bye.